The fishing lure dates back to 2000 BC and has affected cultures for thousands of years, including mine, ever since. When the fishing lure first originated, it was nothing merely but a bronze hook and some string. But slowly adapting and incorporating different objects such as cloth or thread or other colorful things, it took shape into what we now know as the lure. And while the lure itself may have changed, the general premise of the fishing lure has remained constant. The premise of imitating a prey fish to its predator fish in order to lure that fish into biting it, thus catching the fish. I believe that by knowing where the fishing lure has been and where it has gone today, we can then look at how fishing itself has affected cultures from millennials ago until cultures of today and how we have grown because of it. When the fishing lure first originated, it originated in Mesopotamia area around 2000 BC and was merely a hook and some string. But as different deviations of the design came up, they would be used by different cultures of different regions for situations that made more sense to them, such as freshwater fishing, say in a lake, or river or stream fishing, maybe coastal fishing, or ice fishing even in some areas. But regardless of where it was, the premise still remained the same, of just trying to catch a fish in order to eat. But as time has gone on, the premise of fishing to eat has changed. It used to be that people would fish for a day's meal or just to gather food, but now people fish for a whole spectrum of reasons, whether that be just to fish for a sport, tournament fishing. There's different types, such as bass, walleye, like ocean fishing, fishing for fun, just fishing for pastime. There's a whole spectrum of different reasons why people fish today compared to when they did many years ago. But growing up fishing lures were an everyday item in our house. My dad would come home after a day of work, sit down at the island, and tie up lures for the next day of fishing. There was fishing lures in my bedrooms all the time. There was fishing lures everywhere. There was hooks everywhere. There was fishing rods all over the house. My dad and my grandpas, who all fished, would take me fishing whenever they had a chance. No matter what, they always had time to take me fishing. Even occasionally we take some trips, like up to Canada. And it was really here that the culture of fishing really took shape, and where most of my childhood memories are, fishing with my dad and grandpas, with some friends. If you can also really see how cultured someone is in the fishing culture by looking at what type of fishing they're doing. Say they're just using a simple hook and bobber with some bait on it, that would mean maybe they're not that experienced in fishing. Say they were using an actual lure like a jerkbait, swim bait, swim jig, swim bait, anything. There's an endless variety of sophisticated lures with sophisticated techniques that go along with them that would really show that someone's more knowledgeable in the culture of fishing than, say, someone who was just using the simple bobber, hook, and bait. Now, while fishing itself has not shaped the world's cultures, it has shaped them in some way. And with my personal experience of fishing and the knowledge of how the fishing lure has gone from what it used to be to what it is today, and the overall knowledge of the fishing lure's premise and why people fish, I would hope that it shows that learning from lures and fishing can show the shaping and affecting of cultures from thousands of years ago to the cultures of today. And why fishing might not be the answer to a lot of historical questions about why cultures became the way they did, it is a reasonable start to kind of figure out where they came from and why they do some things. So that's why I believe the fishing lure is a very important part of any historical findings and how it can really help us understand cultures.